What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Today we're going to talk about Sidney Crosby and his return imminently, and what Crosby means to the league on the whole. This time last year, I was quoted on the show as Mark Savard had been ruled out for the year. After effects of the hit by Cook 2 years ago. I think it's 2 years ago this week, actually. And I had a lot of resentment towards the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I said, I wish one of the Bruins would put Crosby out and give them a taste of what we've experienced as Bruins fans. And lo and behold, Crosby missed the rest of that year, last year. And David Krejci inadvertently, it was nothing malicious, just a thing, put Crosby out for an extended period of time on an inadvertent collision. And the phrase "be careful what you wish for" really rings true to life here. Because I was like, let's F Crosby, F Malkin, let's go after their knees, let's go headhunting, da 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 da. But now that you don't have Crosby's played 12 games in the last 14 months, it's like it's just like I'll watch hockey no matter what. I love hockey, it's obviously why I do this show, to express my love of the game. But it's not the same. You're missing out on the most skilled player since Gretzky. He really is. The intensity level, hockey's looking for their own version of LeBron James. And I hate making the inter-sports comparisons, but if he's any basketball player, it's Kobe Bryant. The guy is 120% dedicated to winning. He wants to win, he wants to be the best, and that's what gets him up and drives him every single day. And in keeping with the NBA thing, you look at the Kobe Bryant superseded Michael Jordan as the elite player at that position in the NBA. Crosby really took the torch from Gretzky. That really wasn't the elite, center in the league that was the best player in hockey. There wasn't an undisputed, he's the best, oh my God, best player in hockey. That from limited time Gretzky, not even when he hung him up, a few years before he retired, because he lost a few miles off the fastball in his last couple of years. But, he really and truly took that role of being the next Wayne Gretzky. And like it's the different eras dampen the comparison. When Gretzky was playing, everyone was putting up 100 points. Now 100-point seasons are harder to come by, but he's done it, and he's done it 4 times. And the other 2 times he didn't, he was on pace for it. 40 last year he had 66 points in 41 games. That's unbelievable. And then the year they went to the finals and lost, he had 72 points, 53 games. He's unbelievable what he can do offensively. And as fans, we're being robbed of that. You look at the concussion. The fact they screwed up a broken neck is just a poor call by the Penguins medical staff. But if he can come back, play the last number of games. Pittsburgh right now is at 4th in the East, 8 points behind the Rangers for the number 1 seed in the Atlantic Division title. Malkin's having an MVP caliber season. If it's really him, but if Tampa makes the playoffs, I can see Stamkos getting some MVP consideration. If Crosby comes back Sunday against the Bruins, like they're saying, he's been cleared for contact, and he plays, the last 15 games, Pittsburgh can easily go 13-2 and gets. I mean, they're that good. Neal's having a great season. Gino's unbelievable. And you take the most talented player in hockey and add him into that lineup, and it's like, wow. I wish I was Danny Bilesma. You have a plethora of riches and an embarrassment of wealth, so to speak. Jordan Stahl's having a great year. Stevie Sullivan is. I want to see him win the Stanley Cup. As a guy who's rooted for him his whole career, I'd like to see him going on top. And it's really. And if he stays healthy, I can't see a team beating Pittsburgh. Flowers been unbelievable. That stop he had last night on Martin Hanzal was unbelievable. That was almost Tom Hasek-esque, stacking the pads, coming outside the crease. But the league needs Crosby. The league really does. Because you got to sell tickets, you got to sell jerseys, obviously it's the revenue stream. But as a fans, we deserve seeing that skill level. And I think hopefully Crosby's battle with the concussions help clear the path for future research to be done and help eliminate concussions. That's what you got to do. Concussions are obviously a major issue in the NHL. Anytime there's contact in a sport, there's going to be head injuries, and the NHL needs to cut down on that. And hopefully Crosby can put this behind him and put up the numbers we know he's capable of. Because even though I may not like the Pittsburgh Penguins, watching him play is really something. I'll never forget when I was 15 or 16, my sophomore year of high school. I went over to watch him play the Bruins, and I was standing behind the Pittsburgh net during warm-ups, and it was just, you were in awe of just what he could do during warm-ups. And I think he went out, he had his first Gordie Howe hat trick. He had 2 goals and assists and a fee-5 ferret. It was his first NHL fight. It was just, wow. You're really taken aback by just how skilled the guy is. And hockey fans need that. There's nothing. I've seen him do stuff with the hockey puck that you don't think is possible. The way he can tip pucks, the way he can just go through guys. His lower body strength is unbelievable. If he can be healthy, like I said, Pittsburgh, they've already won the Stanley Cup. He's 24 years old, and you look at what he's done. Gold medal, Stanley Cup, MVP, scoring title, Rocket Richard Trophy, Masterson Trophy. I mean, not the Masterson, the other one, Lester B. Pearson, excuse me. You look at all that he's done, it's like, wow. How does someone so young accomplish so much? And, hopefully, like I said, he's got another 10 or 20 years left in his career, because we need that, And that's it for this episode of the Power Play with CJ on Sidney Crosby's imminent return and what number 87 means for the league. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the season. Later, guys.